Welcome back to Have Bronco Will Travel. So today we're going to focus our episode on completely tearing down the front bucket seats and getting those ready for restoration. Now I went ahead and did the front driver's side bucket seat, completely tore it down off camera, just so I could kind of understand the best way to do it. So that way when I'm doing it on camera with the passenger side, I can kind of talk through things and actually know what I'm talking about up front. Now, one thing I do apologize, some of the video today is going to be shot without the best audio because I've gotten having some audio gear issues, but try and bear with me. I'm going to do my best to show you how these actually come together, where they get clipped on, where hog clips go. So if you want to undertake the task of reupholstering a bucket seat yourself, you'll know how to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and try and separate the actual seat from the backrest. Now to do that, we've got to get these inserts out here. So these are protective covers that protect the T45 bolt that you use to actually separate them. So I'm going to use a Phillips head screwdriver to get these out. So when these come out, you're going to have these covers that look like this. So I'm going to go ahead and set these aside, and I'm going to see if I can restore these. Now I don't know if I'm going to restore the seat in the same color, in which case these may not be useful, but nonetheless I'm going to go ahead and keep them. Also, every time I pull a bolt out or a screw, I'm going to stop, I'm going to go over, I'm going to measure it, catalog it, and store these. Now that we've got those seat covers, not seat covers, but we've got those covers off of this connective bolt here, we're going to go ahead and remove this T45 Torx bolt on both sides. Once we do that, we can then pivot the seat forward to start getting access to the screws that keep the back cover on. Alright, now that we've got those off, the final step to getting the backrest off is a 1/2 inch bolt that's down here. So we're going to go ahead and get to work on that right now. Alright, now the next thing we're going to go ahead and remove is these rubber stoppers that are held in with just a Phillips head screw. We'll do the same thing here. Now the reason we're going in this order is I need to remove these before I can take this backrest off, or the back cover off of the seat. If I try and take it off otherwise, I'll break this. So we're going to go ahead and get to work on those right now. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and take off these screws here and the screws here on the back. So down here in the bottom and on the back of the seat. And once I've done that, then I'm going to go ahead and take this back cover off. So when you pull this off like I just did, you want to pull the back up and then pull it out. Otherwise you'll kind of break these clips right here. So make sure you kind of do that. Okay, now that that's off, I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. We're going to get the upholstery off this in just a few minutes. What we're going to do now is move on to the bottom of the seat. Now, let's see, I'm pretty sure these are 1/2 inch. Okay, on the bottom we have a bracket here that's used to keep the seat in place, and it's got 2 1/2 inch bolts we got to go ahead and pull off. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so we're moving on now to the very bottom of the seat. So to completely reupholster, to tear it down, I have to pull this off, and this has four, looks like 3/8-inch bolts that have to be pulled off here, here, there, and there. Now this is one area that makes it a little bit different than the driver's side, because we're working in the passenger side seat right here. So the passenger side seat is meant to the only thing it can do is pivot all the way forward so people can get in the back seat. Where the driver's side seat has some differences. Instead of having one big assembly in the bottom, it actually has a rail on this side and a rail on this side that have to be independently taken off. The reason for that is the passenger side seat can actually slide forwards and backwards, and so it has those two rails, and it has a number of springs also. But so far, that's the only big difference I see. So I'm going to grab a 3/8-inch ratchet wrench, and we're going to go ahead and pull this off. Okay, one thing I did forget to mention is the 3/8-inch bolts on the back of the seat. You're going to need a deep socket just because the spring here prevents getting access to it with a shallow socket. So I'm going to go grab that and we'll go ahead and get this off. Okay, so other than having debris and dirt and some rat droppings in this, mouse droppings, this is in pretty good condition. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse this off, and then we're going to get to work taking the upholstery off the seats. Okay, so at this point, I don't want my face to be in this. I just want to actually highlight what we're doing here so it can be reassembled the same way. So this right here is the bottom of the seat. And as you can see, they have clips that are attached to the upholstery that you just kind of slide off. And you might need a flathead screwdriver or something to help you do it. You can also see they have these tendrils right here, which are meant to be slipped underneath the springs. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull those out. Now some of these are in here pretty good. So let me see if I can at least relieve some tension here. Okay. There we go. Now, some of these you're going to find as we get into them that they actually are held in place by clips. Now, the one other thing I'm going to mention is the fabric's not in good condition, so in some cases, if it gets too difficult to get stuff out, I might just find myself just cutting the fabric out. Let me see if I can figure this one out here. Come on, let me get this underneath there, maybe that'll help. Got one down. See how this guy comes out. Okay, let's see if I can slip this off here. Well, I do expect a fair amount of debris in this. We'll vacuum it up later on. Alright, so in this case, I can't quite see how this is coming up here. I don't see a clip. I'm going to guess someplace in here it's bolted in or screwed in, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut it right down here at this time, and then we can get a look at what's going on underneath there. Okay, so what was going on is there's a clip that I don't know how you would have gotten access to, but it's right underneath here, and with that you can slide it out. So interesting, it's like an origami project to get these things in and out. Let me go ahead down and see if I can remove this. And with that, the seat and the cushion for the originals are integrated into one. So with that, I should be able to get this out. I'm trying to be careful, I don't want to damage the springs here. And some of the springs are definitely, that's what, there's hog clips on the springs on the front here. So let me see if I can. There we go. So what I will say, looking at this one, this is the passenger side, is it does have rust on it. This is in a little bit better condition than the driver's side one. I will show those side by side later. Still going to probably go ahead and see about replacing these springs though, but not bad. And we're going to put this aside now and we'll get to the seat back. So much like the bottom, this has clips that are integrated directly into the cushion, although I will say there's definitely more tension on these, so let me see if I can get these out with a flat head. Get those out. It appears that you have to come at it from the center out to get these out more easily. This one here is going to be tougher. Normally, if this was a good cushion, I wouldn't be manhandling it like this. But the cushion's kind of garbage anyways, so. All right, so we've got that and got that. So there are hog clips at the bottom here, and I'm going to go ahead and get those out. I don't really have a good upholstery tool set, so this is the best I have to kind of remove these. May have to just get something and just cut them off. One off. And there's 3 on each side. So what it's doing is there's a tendril that kind of gets overlaid into here and it gets stapled into the cushion. So I'm finding all sorts of interesting things as I pull these seats apart. Looks like here there's a chain for like a necklace or something. Now on this side, it looks like the 2 of the 3 hog rings are already gone. So let me see if I can get this one out. Now the irony is, I don't really have to do this. I could just cut the cushion off, but I'm doing this so I can record in case I decide to reupholster these seats, or someone else does. What is the order which these things kind of go on there? How does it all work? There we go. Just for educational purposes, I'm going to cut it out here so I can see how this is in there, and that way if someone decides to reupholster one of these in the future, they understand kind of how it's in there. So there probably is a way to pull it all off. I just don't know what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this so I can get to the top. Just as I thought, on the top here there's a metal bar underneath the cushion that this is all screwed up. If I can get that over the top, I think the rest comes off pretty easily. Yeah, so I was right. So there is a metal clip that you want to kind of get it stuck. Oh, well, not stuck. You want to slip it over the top here and it fixes it in place. Once you have that off, the rest comes mostly easy. And I say mostly because somehow it appears that there is another clip here, but it's not a hog clip. It's a really thick clip kind of on the inside, right around here, that clips it to an insert right there. So I did not see that on the driver's side. So I see what was happening. There are clips inside of this right here. It's just a hook, and then you hook them right into this right here. And once you got those out, she's completely disassembled. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break. I'm going to go ahead and clean up everything inside of here, get everything cataloged, kind of washed, cleaned off, and then we'll come back and show you the final product. At this point, I now have the passenger side and the driver's side bucket seats fully disassembled. Now, the good part about this is, with the exception of a few hollow spaces underneath the vehicle, any place in the vehicle that would have harbored any animals living or building up dust and debris has been completely taken apart and cleaned. It was interesting. I did find a lot of things in the seats. I found quite a few pennies. I found toys from the 1970s, like Stretch Armstrong toys, a couple necklaces, just things like that. So it was kind of an interesting time capsule. Now, I have disassembled these as far as I'm going to get them. My next plan is to get all of the rust off of these. What you are looking at, just to back up a little bit, I did get all the debris out of these. I took a hose to it and I did scrub them as best as I could, but there's still rust on these. There's definitely more rust on the driver's side seat than there is the passenger side seat, but both of them are completely serviceable. So my intention now is to get all of the rust off of them. I'll probably have someone do sandblasting or some other technique like that to get all of the rust off of them. I will powder coat them so they are as good as new, and either sell them in that state, or if someone would like me to, I will reupholster them. I am fairly confident, though, that for this vehicle, I'm going to replace these with high-back captain's chairs, so I will not be keeping these. But I do like the experience of going through and breaking them down, understanding how they work, and completely restoring them. Now, one thing that's worth noting is these sections right here. This is what goes in the back as a protective cover. I did my best to remove this as cleanly as I could on the driver's side, but even with that, this section here, which should look like that and just have one hole, has been split. Also on the driver's side, taking them out, that completely got torn apart. So I can't really reuse these, but I do think I can probably find someone that can 3D print these, so I'll be looking to do that. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. I think in the future videos, you're going to start seeing me getting underneath the hood and doing more mechanical work. But I'm going to close it out here now. This is Have Bronco Will Travel, and I'll see you the next time.